First slide.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. I am Belle Shenoy. Today we are going to discuss about publication ethics. I hope everybody can listen to me carefully, clearly and loudly. Please give me a thumbs up, please. Once again, if you can see the first slide, please give me a thumbs up. Great, great. Looks like there are no audio-visual issues, so I can go ahead with my presentation. So publication ethics, there are two things here, publication plus ethics. So I think most of us are aware of the need to publish papers or any other kind of publications. So when we publish, we are expected to follow certain rules and regulations or some kind of guidelines, ethical guidelines. So what is publication ethics? Basically, these are set of principles, guidelines. These guidelines make sure we follow integrity, honesty, and transparency in research publication. So let me start explaining these keywords. Actually, what is integrity? Integrity is you are doing the right thing even when nobody is watching you. That is integrity. Integrity also means you follow your words with action. Actually. So then comes the honesty. Everybody knows what is honesty. So, and transparency. What is meant by transparency? Transparency basically means you declare or you reveal everything, how the research has been done, without even people asking you, questions, about the methodology, about the results. So you be very forthcoming with respect to your research. That is transparency. There is also an issue of conflict of interest when it comes to transparency. All those issues will be discussed in later slides. So if you follow publication ethics, then you can avoid violations like plagiarism, data fabrication, or redundant publication. I will be explaining what is plagiarism, what is meant by data fabrication, how data fabrication is different from falsification, and I will be talking about redundant publication. So basically, at the end of this presentation of 30 to 40 minutes, you should be able to appreciate the thing that if you follow the publication ethics, people will believe in us. People will believe in the scientists. Especially non-experts will believe in our results, our claims, if we follow the publication ethics. So publication ethics helps in maintaining the trust and credibility of the scientific community. So basically, what is meant by ethics? Ethics is a branch of philosophy which helps us to decide actually what is wrong, what is right, or what is wrong, what is right or what is wrong in human behavior. So what is right and what is wrong with respect to publication of research, or research output or research outcome. So that is the beautiful field of publication actually. There are many types of publication misconducts. If you Google, Google, especially Google News, you search for misconducts or scientific publications misconducts, you will get to know different kinds of misconducts happening every day, and people losing jobs, basically losing job, losing reputation, getting demoted because of publication misconducts. So it can happen at the various research and publication stages that I will explain in later stages. As I told you, common types of publication misconducts include plagiarism, data fabrication, redundant publication, authorship misconduct actually. Let's start with plagiarism. What is meant by plagiarism? So basically, plagiarism means using others' ideas, texts, or data without proper citation. Here you can see an example. So this fellow is claiming that this image is a beautiful painting is of his, but this fellow, the second fellow, is already worried that he has because the first fellow has actually copied his ideas, actually almost copied the painting actually. So this is a typical example of plagiarism, basically copying the others' ideas or using others' ideas, text, data without proper citation. There are 4 different types of plagiarism. First one is direct plagiarism, copying direct verbatim. Basically, it means you like three to four sentences in a paragraph that in a paper that you read. You like it. You like the way it has been expressed, the way it has been written. And you just use Control C and Control V, copy and paste into your manuscript. This is called direct plagiarism. Okay, the second one is self-plagiarism. So you have published published one paper in 2023. You have written about for example tar balls, 4 to 5 sentences in introduction. So you just copy paste the same thing, maybe with little bit modification, but you forgot to cite your 2023 paper. So even though it is your own work, your previous work, but when you are using it in a new publication, in a new manuscript, if you don't cite it, that becomes self-plagiarism. Third one is mosaic plagiarism. If you go through social media, sometimes you see this kind of post. Copying from one source is plagiarism. Copying from multiple sources is research. So that has become a joke. And here, the researchers are very smart. They copy different sentences from 2-3 papers, and they paraphrase it. They make it look as if they have written the paragraph, even though they have taken the ideas from multiple sources and they have made a mosaic of it. And they don't give any citation of any papers they have referred to. This is called mosaic plagiarism. This is the smartest way of doing the copying, actually. But it can be detected, actually, by the editors and reviewers. The last type of plagiarism is source-based plagiarism. Source-based plagiarism, basically, you read a blog about a research paper. Instead of citing the original, research paper published in Nature or Science, you just cite the blog. So this is also a kind of plagiarism. This is called source-based plagiarism. So basically, let me summarize this slide. Plagiarism is copying other people's ideas, text, data without proper citation. And there are 4 different types of plagiarism: direct plagiarism, self-plagiarism, mosaic plagiarism, and source-based plagiarism. The next type of scientific publication misconduct is data fabrication and data falsification. What is meant by fabrication? Fabrication matlab you create data which didn't even exist. You just add some values in your Excel sheet, and it becomes a part of your analysis, and later on it becomes part of your result. So you create fake data. That is called fabrication. Okay. Then another type of misconduct is falsification. You probably have original data set or data, but when you analyze, you can exclude certain data set which may not be fitting into your hypothesis testing, or something like that. So you manipulate research data such a way that you misrepresent the findings. So these are 2 serious issues: data fabrication and data falsification, actually. Next one is duplicate and redundant publication. Duplicate matlab when we started MycoAsia in 2019, at least I was very inexperienced dealing with this kind of publication misconducts from the authors. So we received one manuscript, and we were very excited that people are supporting MycoAsia. I got so excited looking at the paper, and I was excited that we would publish it soon after the review. But when the paper was sent to the editor-in-chief, then the editor-in-chief did the simple Google search. And he told me that this paper is already published 3-4 years back, and the authors resubmitted the same thing to our journal. Even though the paper was submitted to kind of a predatory journal, only the abstract and the names were available. I think just the author title of the paper, author names, these were available. I don't think even the abstract was available because it was published in a predator. But the authors found it appropriate to resubmit the same thing to MycoAsia in 2019 or something like that, those years, 2020 or 2019. So this is called duplicate submission or duplicate submission. So what happens if you do that? First of all, you are wasting the time of editors and the reviewers. And it is unethical to publish the same thing again and again. You might get more number of papers, but it is unethical. Duplicate, redundant publication, you make some incremental changes, not really a significant change in existing manuscript, and you publish it as a new paper. That also comes under redundant publication. So these are the two serious kinds of again, two kinds of publication misconduct: duplicate publication and redundant publication, actually. So now we come to the serious part of the business, actually, authorship misconduct. So what kinds of misconduct can be seen in terms of authorship? So you can gift authorship to your friends or lab mates or your somebody who has not contributed significantly to the manuscript. So this is called gift authorship, gifting the authorship, to a non-contributing individual or two non-contributing individuals. Second thing is ghost authorship issue, actually. Ghost authorship means excluding someone who has already contributed significantly to the work. Because of certain issues, you don't want to include that person in the paper, even without taking his consent. His or her consent, that matter. So this is called ghost authorship. Or typical example is that PhD advisors sometimes remove their PhD student who have graduated from the already graduated. They might remove their name from the manuscript, thinking that this fellow did not work that significantly. That is a perception, did not contribute significantly. Vice versa, it can be true. PhD students who after graduation they think their supervisors did not contribute to that paper. So now I have already got my PhD. Let me just remove my PhD supervisor's name. Anyway, I already got my PhD. So this is called ghost authorship. This is unethical. Third one is honorary authorship. Adding influential names without contribution. Basically, you want to just keep some good, some influential people in the field happy so that it can benefit your career. So you offer them authorship. First of all, offering authorship to such people is not ethical, and accepting such authorship is also not ethical. So you should avoid it, and you probably should not do it. Actually, honorary authorship issue, ghost authorship issue, and the gift authorship issue. The next type of publication misconduct is conflict of interest and undisclosed funding. So basically, your example, you got funded by a pharmaceutical company, to test molecule against certain, issue, a certain condition, health condition. But in the manuscript, you don't disclose that you got the funding from this pharmaceutical company. So, but a second one is personal, interest. Actually, you receive probably a manuscript, from somebody, but it happens. That person, author, has to be your wife or daughter or somebody. Then it is better to declare the personal relationship also, and professional conflicts also. If you have worked on the same project, and the paper a paper from that project comes to you through your collaborators, even though you are not a part of that paper, you have been asked to review the paper. That becomes a professional conflict. So you should not do such kind of reviewing when you are part of the project. Even though you're not the author of the paper, but as you are working together for the same project, you should not accept the review. Another kind of publication misconduct is peer review manipulation. What is meant by peer review? Peer review is basically you want to get the comments from your peers who are working in the same field. So some of the unethical behaviors include, when you suggest reviewers in the manuscript submission form, you suggest some fake names, people who are not even existing actually, and you give some email address. Of course, some journals blindly trust authors. what happens? They send your manuscript to the email address suggested by you. So you only receive your own manuscript. You only write the review of your paper for your manuscript and submit. Say it's a very good paper. It's a path-breaking discovery. Blah blah blah, and you get the paper published. This kind of things have happened actually. Probably still are happening actually. This is called suggesting fake reviewers or interfering in the review process. For example, our research community in a particular field is can be very small. You submit a paper and you suggest certain reviewers, and you, after submitting the paper or before submitting the paper, you call those friends of yours and tell them that you have suggested their names for reviewing your manuscript. Or vice versa, your friends would call you and tell that मैंने आपका paper receive है, मैं कर दूंगा, जल्दी कर दूंगा. So it's like I scratch your back and you scratch my back. So this kind of interfering in the preview process, especially in a blind review process, it is considered to be unethical actually. Another kind of publication ethics is salami slicing. So here you can see kind of a salami slicing in the food industry. Sausage is cut into smaller pieces. Basically, salami slicing in the context of publication is that dividing one study into multiple small papers to artificially increase the publication. In case of fungal taxonomy, it could be that, and I go to Ramakrishna Beach in Visakhapatnam, I collect seawater and send the sample for NGS analysis. I would get 4 data sets, one for bacteria, another for fungi, third for zooplankton, fourth for phytoplankton. Instead of writing one paper, I divide this study into 4 different small papers, saying one paper on fungi, another paper on bacteria, third paper on phytoplankton, fourth paper on zooplankton. So this is a typical example of salami slicing. Another example in case of fungal taxonomy is that you go to say forest, you collect some soil, you get many fungi, you get 10 new fungi. Instead of publishing as one paper and all these 10 new species in one paper, you published 10 fungal species as 10 different species. One is mycotaxon, other one is fungal diversity, the third one is MycoAsia. Basically, you will get 10 new species and 10 10 papers, but from the same sample. So this is some salami slicing, and it is considered to be unethical. Actually, this is just to artificially increase your publication count. I see many of the times fungal taxonomists brag that I have published 400 papers, 500 papers. I think one of the possible reasons is salami slicing actually. And another kind of publication misconduct is citation manipulation. So citing your own papers in your manuscripts, whether it is required in the context or not, you just cite your own papers, so that your citation number of your citation index improves. This is excessive self-citation. And who decides it is excessive and not excessive? So it is up to you mostly. And sometimes the reviewers, editors, community will tell you you are doing excessive self-citation. And sometimes journals actually restrict you from doing self-citation. But there are certain journals which the editors or reviewers, so the editor or the reviewer tell these are the papers, these are very important in the field, you should cite them, even though those may not be very important, but they want to increase the citations of the their own papers as reviewers actually. Same with the editors. Editors will say, please cite 4 or 5 papers from our journal, something like that. So this is coercive citation. So these are 2 kinds of excessive citation manipulation. One is excessive self-citation, second one is coercive citation. So very rampant problem has been because of certain issues. Predatory publishing. Predatory publishing, You submit a manuscript to us, we will publish in 7 days. Or you will say, we have a manuscript, we have the first author for sale, you pay only 2,000 rupees. Second authorship is for sale, you pay only 1,000 rupees. The third authorship is for sale, you pay only 500 rupees. If you want the first author and the corresponding authorship, you pay 5,000 rupees. This kind of business have been happening actually, and people have been accepting this kind of things. So this is how the predatory publishing has been happening. They end up doing low quality publication through fraudulent means actually, and these predatory journals lack rigorous peer review. So if you are an author or a budding author, so how can you prevent publication misconduct? You know, as an young PhD student, I also made many mistakes because I was not very much aware of publication misconduct. Therefore, I am giving this presentation to create awareness about publication conduct. So I was not aware about the correct meaning of plagiarism. I'm talking about in 2003, when I was starting my PhD. I was not fully aware about, because I went from India to Hong Kong. So who taught us about plagiarism in MSc classes? Not many people did actually. So I was, and many other issues I was not fully aware. But as we go through the career, so we understand many things actually. So, but as you are a budding scientist, so how can you prevent publication misconduct? So you have to follow ethical guidelines. Every journal will have their own journal policies. Please make sure you are aware of the journal policies. Or you can go to this website, Committee on Publication Ethics. So this is an international body. So they will help you with this. Has got lots of information, so lots of guidelines with respect to publication. And most of the journals become a member of the this COPE, this committee or this organization, by paying some annual fees of 16,000 rupees or something like that. So if you want to know more about publication ethics, or how to deal with publication misconduct, or some interesting cases of misconduct, how the committee has been dealing with such issues, so you can go to the website and find out. When you write your manuscript, please cite the sources properly. Don't be lazy. Do the hard work and cite the sources properly. Maintain data integrity. Please do not fabricate data. Do not falsify data. Okay. When you are giving authorship, please ensure transparent authorship. Nowadays, every author is expected to give a declaration what has been his contribution to that particular manuscript. So ensure transparent authorship. Avoid redundant publication. Just for the sake of increasing number of citation, don't send us almost similar manuscripts to different journals. And simultaneous submission of manuscript to multiple journals, it is also unethical actually. And if there is a kind of conflict of interest with respect to funding or personal relation or professional relation, please disclose that in the manuscript itself. So very easy. Use plagiarism detection tools before you submit your manuscript to the journals. Otherwise, the journals will also do it. If you are a reviewer, if you are already in the stage of your career where you are asked to review papers of others, so how can you prevent publication misconduct? You can maintain confidentiality. If you receive a manuscript from somebody known, you just once you receive the manuscript for review, you just don't call them up and say, hey, aapka paper aaya hai, main jaldi karunga, or aapka paper aaya hai, acha paper hai. So don't do all those things. Or you say, iska paper mere paas aaya tha, you tell the third person. So these are all unethical. You are supposed to maintain confidentiality as a peer reviewer. Avoid bias. When you might not like the person, but when it comes to as an author, you should respect him. You should avoid bias. You should try to provide fair reviews. Okay, and if you find any misconduct, you have to report it to the editors of the journal. And if you are a publisher, or if you are an editor of a journal, so You can prevent publication misconduct by following ways. Actually, you have to implement ethical policies. In the case of MycoAsia, we have set of policies which are displayed on our website. We follow COPE guidelines. We use plagiarism detection tools. Even without the plagiarism tools, our reviewers, our editors are skilled enough or smart enough to detect the plagiarism. So somebody who has spent 10, 15 years in the field, he can tell whether it is a copied thing or the original idea. So you cannot easily fool an editor. Okay. As a publisher, you have to transparency in case of conflict of interest, and as a journal, as a publisher, we have to educate researchers on publication ethics. Therefore, this kind of talks are very important. So let me come to the conclusion. So ethical research is very important. People, stakeholders, believe you if you have done your research ethically. And if there are many cases of publication misconduct highlighted in the newspapers or social media, even our policy makers, even stakeholders, we may not believe in us actually. So, as a young researcher, please try to avoid any issues of publication misconduct. So, awareness is important. Once you are aware of the issues, please adhere to the ethical guidelines. And overall, if you follow the ethical publication ethics, it will benefit the researchers, publishers, and the whole scientific community. I thank you, all of you. I think I have finished in 30 minutes. I would like to highlight that most of the content is kind of refined using ChatGPT. Therefore, many simple things are explained in many of the complex concepts are explained in very simple things. That is the beauty of ChatGPT. And I use Canva to prepare these slides. Most of the photos are, all the photos are from Canva actually. So with this, I end the presentation, and I will open it for the question and answer. Dr. Sridhar, you may ask your question. Yes, Dr. Sridhar.
Yeah, I have a few questions with regard to retraction of papers.
Yeah.
I know nowadays there are a lot of retractions from the publisher like that. And let me please explain what is meant by retraction. The second one is who retracts the research paper. Thirdly, what are the implications of retraction with regard to popularity or self-prestige and all such things. So it would be better you explain this for the young researchers or whoever interested in this type of retraction processes.
I will share what I know about retraction. Basically, you come to know that something wrong has happened in your published paper. Either the community has told you or yourself have come to know that some of your lab members have actually done something wrong. So your paper is highlighted at the community level. So you can write to the editor and say, you write to the editor and say, we want to withdraw the paper for the following reasons. In extreme cases, when all the authors are involved in the publication misconduct, then the journal editor themselves, they can announce that we have retracted, we have withdrawn this paper because of ethical concerns.
Okay. Yeah.
Any next question?
Yeah. Thank you, Shenoy.
Thank you. Mr. Durgesh, you have any question?
Hello.
Yeah. Do you have any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please ask.
First of all, thank you, sir. A very nice presentation. It will really help me. I am a PhD student, sir. I have one question. So recently, I submitted my one research paper to one journal. and after revisions, one reviewer suggests me that add some this recently studies, but they are not related to my work. So how I can reply to them that the studies that you suggested to add me are not related to my work?
You can just write a polite email to them or reply to them saying politely, sir, these are not directly related to the issue highlighted in my manuscript. And it's up to them how they want to deal with it later on.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Shweta, Suresh Patil. Okay, Dr. Suresh Patil, please ask your question. Dr. Suresh Patil, do you have any question?
Hello.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Now I am speaking. Thank you very much, sir. I watched your presentation. This was very nice. And I have one query regarding the publication charges. Most of the journals, they have publication charges. Please, regarding because some of the somewhere we will not be having some of the funding for the publication charges. Most of the data is going to be waste because we are not having funding for the publication.
So if you do not have funds for the open access journals, so you can publish in hybrid journals or the journals which follow subscription model. There are many journals which still follow the subscription based model actually. So not all the journals are open access. You don't have to pay APC to all the journals. So you should be smart enough to choose your journal beforehand.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Shweta Kulshrestha.
Hello, sir.
There is an echo. Okay. Anyway, any more questions? Jameshwar Prasad. Mr. Prasad, ask your question.
Yes, so thank you for your presentation, sir. I want to ask that I'm a postgraduate student and want to publish my paper. So how can I find a best, appropriate, and authentic journal for my publication, sir?
You could go to SCA list for the what you could say one kind of curated list of journals actually. SCA listing.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Madam Pavitra Suresh, please ask your question. Madam Pavitra.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear. Please ask your question.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation, sir. Actually, I did my research in my post-graduation, that is 3 years back. Can I publish my paper now?
Can you please repeat your question?
I did my research in my PG, sir, which is 3 years back. Can I publish that paper now?
Yes, you can.
Because due to funding, I can't publish it before. Can I publish it now?
Yes. I mean, I have seen in my institute people have published paper from the data generated 10 years back also. Okay, no problem.
Okay, sir, thank you. Thank you.
But earlier the better.
Sure, sir.
Any more questions? Madam Hemangi, please ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, madam, please ask.
Sir, I have a question. Means I came across a case that there was one person who just published one paper in a journal, and then she was not very much like after she came to know that this journal is not very much known and not that much impressive. So, is it possible that we retract our paper from that journal if it is published already, and we retract it and then we make some modifications and then we publish it in some other journal? Is it ethical to do so?
Probably not correct. Probably not correct.
Not.
You should have studied the journal before submitting it. Actually, in between, if the journal went through some reputation issue, probably you would have a valid reason to do something about it. But withdrawing it and just for this, your perception of the journal was not correct. I think that is not a valid. That's not a good reason to do something like that. That's my personal opinion. So, but you could look into COPE website and find out.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Sridhar? Dr. Sridhar, you have any more questions?
Yeah, I want to add some information. Some of the reviewers, when it comes for reviewing, for example, I'm going to get a few research papers for reviewing purpose in my field, and I will review that, and I will add my own publications as references to increase the citations. That is also one of the things that is going on rampantly in many cases, because the reviewer is going to add his own or his group publications in the references wherever it is relevant, like that. Although whether it is really necessary or not, that's how some people are increasing their citations. This is what it comes to my notice. So this is an additional information.
Okay, thank you, Sridhar, Professor Sridhar, for that. Another extreme of it is that somebody who writes a paper doesn't want to include the paper of their rival groups.
Okay. Yeah,
so that is also borderline misconduct. Anyway.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dhruv Maurya. Mr. Dhruv Maurya. Mr. Dhruv Maurya, you have any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please ask.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Yeah.
Sir, my question is, sir, can you tell me whether a cross-referencing is ethically right or wrong?
See, strictly speaking, cross-referencing is using the secondary data, right? Secondary publication, not the original paper.
Yes, sir.
I think you should also ask yourself, whether the secondary paper or secondary source has presented the idea or the views of the original paper in a correct manner. So it is advised that you refer to the original paper when you are talking about an original idea of someone, and it is better you cite the original paper. But the original paper is published in 1832 and it is not easily accessible. Then in that case, you could cite the secondary source. But it is advised that you refer to the original source and make the correct interpretation and the correct referencing.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any more questions? Dr. Shweta Kulshrestha, are you still there? Dr. Kulshrestha? Dr. Kulshrestha? Anyway, if there are no more questions, Dr. Deshmukh, do you have any final comments if you're there?
I think Dr. Shenoy has already covered all the aspects, and the youngster will definitely take the advantage of that. And I should thank him for giving such nice presentation on publication ethics.
Thank you, Dr. Deshmukh, for collaborating with MycoAsia for this series of talks. It has been our privilege to be associated with the Association of Fungal Biologists. We hope to continue this collaboration in coming years. And I would like to thank today's audience. I think I could see around 70 to 75 people. That's a very good number for a Sunday, on a Sunday. Thank you very much for your kind participation. Please feel free to contact me for any issues related to publication issues or any other general things. I am available on my email, okay, shenoy@gmail.com. With this, we sign off. Dr. Deshmukh.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great Sunday there. Bye-bye.
Bye.